Hello, everyone. The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes on a recent horror release, and just like all of our other episodes, it might include major spoilers for said horror release, so don't listen to it if you haven't already seen it. You've officially been warned. And if you'd like to hear the full episode, just head on over to patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today. Without further ado, here is your exclusive Patreon clip. I will say that I think the monologues it almost teeters into self-parody by episode 6, whenever Annabeth Gish, whenever Kate Siegel tells Annabeth Gish, this is what's happening, it's vampires. And Annabeth Gish just goes, "It is crazy. Let me tell you a story." And I was like, whoop, buckle up.
Oh, see, I got that when Annabeth Gish goes to the sheriff, and he's like, "Let me tell you why I became the sheriff of this tiny island town." Brian literally turned to me and said, "Oh, I guess everybody gets one." And I was like, maybe that's why they signed on. They were like, Emmys, Golden Globes, across the board.
I mean, everyone is so good in the show. And I will co-sign with you, because I know when it comes to Flanagan, I do get defensive because his work affects me so, and it just hits me so rawly that I do sometimes when people really bitch about Flanagan. I mean, I get that it won't work for everyone. I'm surprised this works more for people than, let's say, Bly Manor did. Maybe not, because this one at least does have more of your typical horror elements that people are looking for.
Oh, yeah, but you gotta wait for those final 2 episodes. Whereas at least with Bly Manor, there was creepy ghost lady the whole way through. Mm-hmm. I actually feel like it's been an interesting 3 kind of... What's a trio?
Trifecta?
Trifecta. I like it. Okay. It's been an interesting trifecta with people going absolutely gaga with Hill House and then feeling like, oh, Bly Manor is a come down, which you and I both love. People can go back and listen to that episode. And then this one, which feels like a bit of a compromise between the two of them. Like, yes, I hear what you're saying, but still, I'm Mike Flanagan and I'm super interested in family and faith and really rich character moments.
Well, and but this also feels like Flanagan, addressing some of his critics. Because we haven't done an episode on Hill House, but the big critique of that show was, it was so good up until the finale. Yeah, because it was too sugary sweet, blah, blah, blah. So this felt like him replying to those people going, oh, you want a dark ending? Okay.
But one could argue that too much of the beginning of this series is sugary sweet, right? Like, it's about finding faith and hope and, coming back and being accepted by your family and your community. And I found it interesting the number of people who say, like, oh, the show didn't work for me because it's not action driven enough. Like, nothing happens until those last 2 episodes. Because for me, there is so much dread and tension and just, like, I mean, I'm sure this really hit you, but all of the mass sequences, and particularly everyone's favorite bitch, Bev.
Oh my God.
Just everything that happened in there, I was gripped because like, it's basically 5 hours of just build up to something fucking horrible happening.
No, you are right. And I will confess, and I think you feel the same. Like, the way that this series ends, I didn't feel was very surprising, but no. Only because I think the show telegraphs it, but purposefully so. Like, the atmosphere and mood of every single episode is, like, building to doom.
Yes, absolutely. This island is going to burn. Oh shit, the island is literally burning.
Constantly. But I will say, and you're right, the mass sequences, I've talked about my religion on here. You've talked about how you relate to religion. I have been glib and maybe partially offensive to people that do still have faith, especially the queer community, because I admit that sometimes I'm just like, I sometimes generalize and be like, I just assume in my head, oh, queer people don't like they're not religious folk, but obviously that is not true.
That's not
so.
True. No.
I apologize in the past for being like glib about it, but it's so funny because, I'm sure people talk about the, it's not horror enough. It's because, they want that fucking vampire, which, by the way, like, is revealed in full in episode 3. So it's like, okay. But yes.
I think you mean Angel?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. But no, everything about the religion. And maybe I wouldn't say it's horror-y, but it all constantly made me deeply, deeply uncomfortable. And the mass, I always say with people with Catholic Church, where I'm like, I just with Catholic Church in general, how I feel about it, how I reacted to it was it felt very culty. It felt very zombie-y. Again, when you have 500 people saying the Nicene Creed aloud, it just sounds like that, and it makes me shiver. Like, and so watching these scenes, which were pretty accurate reenactments of a regular Catholic mass, like not even like hardcore Catholic mass, like this is just normal mass.
Yeah, this is your regular Sunday.
Yeah, I was just like, oh god, I feel so uncomfortable watching this, to the point where the horror in this show for me is the religion and like the consequences of sometimes blind faith, as opposed to the, traditional horror element of the vampire.
It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming.
Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept.
Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it.
God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Listen to Regarding Dracula wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm.